Hey guys, today we're going to do something a little bit differently. We are going to be installing an electric bike kit on this bicycle that belongs to a friend of mine. The hub motors, what I've researched is that the hub motors are better for road riding. The mid drives are better for mountain biking because it keeps the weight a little bit more central. This kit is from eBikeling. What this cost was about $650 and it came to about $715 with tax and everything. Let's see what we got here. Some sort of bag. Oh, these are the brake levers. The bigger the motor, the bigger this becomes. Wanted the cassette style. You have to make sure that you get the right one. So unfortunately, we're going to have to change the rear sprockets on this. So additional stuff. So zip ties, the cables, more cables. This is a free wheel. You could get different ones with Bluetooth and all of that. Oh, these are just grips, thumb throttle, and I believe this is some sort of like thing that goes in the crank. This is the controller. So that's box one. The majority of the expense on these bikes is really the battery. This is the charger. Pretty well done. There's quite a bit here, quite a bit of a mess. And I'm surprised it comes with the freewheel and everything. First thing we're gonna do is remove the rear wheel because we have to remove the tire and the cassette and everything. Just kind of back it up, cram it in here. Just don't pinch the tube and just kind of take it along the rim. That's gonna remove it from the rim. And now reverse it this way. Take our cable, put the cassette in here, and you can tell it's a freewheel because it's got threads here on this side. And you get it in here, you twist it. It's the same process, just kind of put it here, make sure it's going the right way. We're gonna have to remove these disc brakes and put it on the new one. And we have the disc brake. There we go, and now there's this plate here. Remove it, this, and then this would go here. So make sure that this is going the right way. Make sure the sprocket faces the wheel, and then you have to put this part over the sprocket. And now slide it down. Make sure it fits in the disc brake portion here. This washer actually goes on the inside the subframe. And now you should be able to drop it in, and that's going to give you enough clearance to tighten everything up. I have the washer and then the nut. That washer, the one with a little safety clip on the outside, and it was hitting the brakes. So let's tighten this. This has to be pretty tight. All right, motor is in. So in this bag is what you call a torque. It's a series of metal clips because there's so much pressure being put on the subframe that you need something to kind of balance it out. So they include this. It's a universal torque and mid-drive arm. This makes your subframe a little bit stronger with the amount of energy being used in the hub motor. This piece, there's this piece. So let's install the torque arm. Now this part, yeah, this is good. You put the C-clamp through the hole here. And now you use this clamp here. Torque arm is in there. It's not the most beautiful way of doing it, but I think it'll work. So that's the torque arm there. Now we're going to tighten this bolt. And that's it. The torque arm is in there. Let's see if it spins. Guys, in order for you to solve the chain hitting and the brake hitting, you're gonna have to put enough spacers or washers on the inside to kind of push it out. So at this point, we're just looking at the bike, make sure everything is good. This is the torque arm. We need to make sure that our derailleur does not shift out of the top ring and the lower ring. So in order for that, we're going to have to adjust the limit screws on the derailleur using a Phillips head screwdriver. We have our limit screws for the derailleur. To do that, you're going to have to do this and change the limit screws. if I do this, it's still shifting. We want to just make sure that this goes off. I'm going to downshift it into the other one because it's not letting me shift into this one. So this screw, let's undo it a little bit because we want it to go into the other one. There we go. On the derailleur, this stops the chain from going more this way because we're losing speeds. This one needs to be adjusted, and now we're going to adjust this one. That's going to limit the chain from going over this sprocket. And you see it shifting into the top one. And now that's the limit. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Just 2, 3. Shift it, make sure it doesn't go over that one sprocket. We are going to install the dash, and now we're just going to tighten this down. So this is a modes switch. There we go. So it's an up, a middle, and a down. We're going to have to remove the grip out. Okay. Only reason I'm loosening the handlebar so I can slide the cables out. I should be able to slide the handlebar. Now let's fit our thumb throttle. We have our shifters and then our brake lever. Here's the grip. We do have everything put on here, the brake, the grips, everything is on there. This is the battery and this is the holder. First thing we're going to do is remove the cage for your bottle. Let's fit this on here. Okay, fit the battery through the hole there. All right, do you remember this bag? The controller will go here. Now, we have to figure out how to put this on. We have this. This is the wiring loom for the bike. You know, this is what I like about this specific kit. It comes with these really decent connectors and you can see the colors, but it's difficult to mess them up. And this goes into the controller. This cable, I believe, attaches to the motor and then you run this to the controller. This that comes directly from the hub motor, and this is the male part, this is the female part, and now it's a matter of like routing your cables. Remember, you could always reroute it. It's easy enough with the disconnect. Connect it over here to the frame. We have all of these wires here. You know, I'm very impressed with this kit. It's well made. So these cables are going to be going into all of this. There we go. We're not going to use two of these, and I believe it's these two red ones we're not going to use because it's for the brake lights, and it belongs to the digital dash. So there we go. Digital dash, the throttle, that's going to be connected into the controller. There's only one way to install it though. So just kind of, there we go. So this is the wire for the motor, and that just connects onto this one. So you have to turn on the battery. There's an on-off switch over here. I was surprised at how good the computer looks. This is a e-bike link, and I decided to change the power and modes button onto the left because the right was getting a little bit cluttered. Let's push M, and the display goes up. The display is active, and what you have here on the top, it's a pretty fairly they did a really great job with this. I am surprised. This is really the best bike kit I've ever installed. So you have here your speedometer. You might get your speedometer in kilometers. There is a way to change it. Here is your battery status. Right now you have it at 100%. And then PAS is pedal assistance. I have not installed that yet. Then you have a 3. So if you use the modes button, you can kind of go down on the pedal assisting. The important part to note is that up here, P01 really is 01. Make sure that you hold the brake. Now keep in mind that the pedal assist mode is at 0. You're going to have to change that in order for the throttle to work. So after you've done all the settings, you want to go up and down. On 1, it goes up to 9 miles an hour of assist. On 2, it goes up to 15, 16 miles per hour. On 3, it goes to 20 miles per hour. On 4, it goes to 24, 25 miles per hour. On 5, which is the maximum, it goes to 30 miles per hour. All right, guys, with the bike fully mounted, the only thing left to do is give the bike a try. So let's go for a ride. So I have just about everything done. This is the thumb drive. For some reason, if it was too close, it was interfering with the shifter. This is kind of like a downside. What I do plan on doing is buying the throttle. The one that works like this, it's a lot better because the controls are too tight here. And if you have your hand here, it's a long reach, especially if you have small hands, to reach here. And the owner of this bike is 5'2", so her hands are a little bit smaller. I was surprised at how good the computer looks. This is a e-Bikeling S830. They have instructions online, and it's very important because you do have to program it. And I'll show you, because if your motor is not turning on, chances are you probably did everything right. Check the connections and all of that. It's all in here, and we're about to go into this. And I decided to change the power and modes button onto the left because the right was getting a little bit cluttered. It might not be the best way, but to power it on, if you have the battery on, you should be able to push M and it'll power on. Let's push M and the display goes up. The display is active, and what you have here on the top, it's a pretty fairly, they did a really great job with this. I am surprised. This is really the best bike kit I've ever installed. So you have here your speedometer. You might get your speedometer in kilometers. There is a way to change it. Here is your battery status. Right now you have it at 100%. And then PAS is pedal assistance. I have not installed that yet. Then you have a 3. So if you use the modes button, you can kind of go down on the pedal assisting. And then you have the odometer. Now you can push M and it'll cycle through your trip. So that's your trip. And then you can reset it. Vol, that's voltage. That's the current. That is the time. I haven't set those yet. So the important thing to do is that if you hold the up and down, if you hold the up and down on your selector, you're going to get this screen. And this is very important. This is how you adjust the settings. So if you want to change the power settings on the bike, this is how you do it. So we're going to go through here. The important part to note is that up here, P01 really is 01. It's a little misleading, or at least it's hard to kind of figure out, but once you get the manual for this individual computer, you can kind of go through it. So if you push the M again, now I'm on 2, 02, 03, 04. 05. Each one of these does a separate thing that changes the way the computer and the motor work. Once you get here, this part was confusing. So this is P1, 0. So that's 10. That's 11. That's 12. That's 13. That's 14. That's 16. And that's 1. So the way it works is that 1, you go up and down on the arrows, and this is really, it might be hard to see on camera, but Down here, that is the setting. So you can see that's at 1, that's the brightness. 1 is the darkest, 3 is the brightest. So I'm going to keep it on 3. And now I'm going to go off into O2. O2 is either kilometer or miles. So you can see it change there. I'm using miles. Now let's go to 3. 3 is the voltage grade. This is where you have to figure out what motor you're using. I'm using a 36 volt. So if you are using 48 or 52, you would change it here. And if you change it into a 52, your battery starts decreasing because you don't have enough voltage. So I'm at 36. 4 is sleep time. So sleep time is basically 0 means that the LCD screen will never go off for energy savings. So I like to keep the screen always on, so I'm going to leave it at 0. But if you wanted to increase it, you can just go up. You'll go, for example, keep it at 5 minutes, and then it'll turn off. But I'm going to keep it always on. And 5 means pedal assist grades. So there's only a few grades. There's 3, there's 5, there's 9. And that's the level of pedal assisting. I haven't installed the system yet, so I'm going to leave it at 3. 6, that's the wheel size in inches. I'm using it's a 700cc, which equates to 27.5, I believe. So that's going to be the speedometer, like the way it reads the speed. So 07 is range, 1 to 100. So you would put it at 46 if your motor was 1200 watts and above, but you want to keep it 01 for anything geared from 350 watts to 750 watts. So keep it at 1. 08 is the speed limit. So you can limit the speed, and 100 as it is now, I'm not limiting the speedometer. So that's 100 kilometers. I'm going to keep it unlimited for now, but eventually I might turn it down for the owner so she can kind of get used to it. 09 is 0 and non-zero start setting. So if you keep it at 0, it's going to engage the motor instantly, while non-zero, 1, is going to give it some delay when you throttle. So this actually could be a very good thing for a new rider. So this is going to be a delay, and this is no delay. So as a safety precaution, I'm going to put it on 1. Now 10. So 10 is the power drive. So right now I'm on 2, which is, so 0, if you put it on 0, 0 is power drive. The specific gear of the assist drive decides the assist power value. In this status, the throttle does not work, so the throttle will not work on this. On 1, the electric drive, the vehicle is driven by the handlebar. In this status, the power gear does not work. What we want is 2, power drive and electric drive. Electric drive does not work in 0 start status, so we're going to keep it on 2. Now on 11, I'm not sure what 11 is, but on 12, assist power intensity range 0 to 5. Lower value means that it provides a little assistance when you start pedaling. So we'll keep it there. And 13, power magnet steel number. So I don't have the pads installed yet, so I'm not going to mess with that. And 14 is the current limiting of the controller. So currently this is set for 12 amps. But if you have a 12 amp controller, you would set it here. I'm going to leave it at 12. 16, this is the odometer. So I haven't put any miles on this bike, so there's nothing to set. And we're back to the original. So that's pretty much it. That's the way you set up your status. So if your controller, your motor is not working, you have to go in these settings. Sometimes the settings are wrong. And you're not going to get any power. So let's go ahead and try and hit the thumb drive to see if the bike is going to fire up. Make sure that you hold the brake. Now keep in mind that the pedal assist mode is at 0. You're going to have to change that in order for the throttle to work. So after you've done all the settings, you want to go up and down, and you can see the level of assist. Now I haven't put the level assist yet, but it's not going to work by pushing the throttle. So the bike is not going to work if it's at 0. So if I push it, nothing. But now I'm going to lift up the rear wheel and I'll put it on 1. Now I'm going to twist the throttle, and there goes the wheel. This is on 1. It goes up to 9 miles an hour on 1. On 1, it goes up to 9 miles an hour of assist. On 2, it goes up to 15, 16 miles per hour. On 3, it goes to 20 miles per hour. On 4, it goes to 24, 25 miles per hour. On 5, which is the maximum, it goes to 30 miles per hour. This is not with a load, so there's no rider on the bike. So when you get on the bike itself, there's going to be a lot more load. All right, guys, with the bike fully mounted, the only thing left to do is give the bike a try. So let's go for a ride. Put it on fit, and look how fast this goes. 17 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour. Now I'm not pedaling. So the best thing about electric bikes is that you don't really have to use the electric motor. Right now, like, I have barely used any of it. This kit is quite nice. I was not expecting the quality of this kit when I got it, but this is the beauty of the electric bike. You don't have to pedal. You don't have to like use the motor. So when people that usually they're more purists when it comes to bicycles, I don't think they know how good these kits are. And if I need to just use, I'm on 5, which is the most assist, 20 miles an hour, just like that. Twisting that throttle, 23 miles an hour on level ground, 25. Everywhere. That's an e-bike that we should pass. That's another e-bike. I've ridden through here many times, and you kind of get a little bit tired going up. 18 miles an hour, just normal pedaling. Now pedaling and throttle, you can see this, that's a big difference. No pedaling, just going up the hill. 24 miles an hour. Going uphill 19 miles an hour. 20 miles an hour going uphill. My battery finally has gone down. Going uphill definitely decreases the battery, so 95%. Slowing down for this corner, I never had to slow down for a corner. We're still at 100% of the battery. 24 miles an hour! I've made it over the Woodrow Wilson Bridge onto Virginia. Here's another hill. But with this kit, it's just amazing. Like, I am sold on getting one of these for myself. Look at this. No pedaling, just going uphill. Can't imagine a better thing for commuting than these things. Incredible system, and I'm still at 100% battery. It's just kind of hard. Like, you just squeeze it a little bit, get some coasting. You can probably do, I don't know, 50 miles on this. So I can see why people use single speeds on these bikes, because you can just power up a little bit and then you're just pedaling much faster. So if you ever need like a boost, you just kind of like hit that, go up to speed and just start pedaling, and you're essentially already have the momentum built up. I mean, this is incredible, the system. I'm not pedaling, but I'm moving. And then if I were to pedal, I'm at the momentum. effortless to ride. Yeah, let's go up this hill. Look at this, going up the hill. No effort whatsoever. This is a pretty steep hill too. 17, 16 miles an hour. So this, it does struggle a little bit going up this hill. Reps. So normally I would speed up here, but I'm going up the hill because this is the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, and normally it takes a little bit of an effort to go up. Actually, this bike is not bad to pedal at all, but on the Fit, which is the most powerful version of the motor, I'm going to try it. Look at this. 10 miles an hour, 14 miles an hour. Yeah, normally this is a little bit of a challenge, especially with the headwind that we're getting and the very cold temps. I'm going to do 3 passes of the MGM hill. One is going to be turned off. I'm going to put it on 0. This is going to be unassisted, and I'm going to go all the way up to the top on the tightest gear, the hardest gear. This is going to wear me out. 14 miles an hour. I'm almost midway. I'm at 12.2 miles an hour. And I'm about to shift into the lower ring because it's getting difficult. My legs are burning. All right, I'm gonna shift. You can hear my breath. So I'm going like 10 miles an hour. 10.8 miles an hour. 10.9. All right, we have arrived. 10.9 miles an hour. Now we're going to do a throttle only, no pedaling assist, going up the hill. So let's get started. And we are going to be putting this in the 5th. So right now I'm pedaling, and now we're going to start. There we go. No pedaling. Remember, I was struggling going uphill with this thing. In the strongest, powerful of the motor, I'm going 18 miles per hour. That's 8 miles per hour faster than what I was, that I could go up. Right now, 20 miles an hour. So I'm going 10 miles an hour faster than my capability with just pedaling power. And I'm at 73%. There is a little bit of a backwind, so that's aiding me just a little bit. 21.9. 21.9. That was quick. I mean, we're almost at the top of the hill. Almost at the top of the hill. That's incredible. This hill always killed me commuting back home. And I'm not even pedaling. I'm not pedaling one bit. That is amazing. And that's pretty much it. So I doubled my speed simply by turning on the bike and throttling it up. And now we're going to try this again. Alright guys, now I'm going to pedal and use the motor at the same time to see how fast I can go up this hill. There we go. And the motor is engaged, and I'm shifting to the hardest possible gear. "21, 22, 23 miles an hour. 24 miles an hour. That's tough. Very tough to kind of go up. That's incredible. 25 miles an hour. And that's that, guys. We hit 25 miles an hour and I'm pretty tired. See, this is why you get a kick. You still get a workout using the throttle. It's just incredible. And we still have tons of battery left. Well, that is the 500cc 36 volt 12 amp hour battery installed from eBikeling. I wasn't sure what I was going to get when I bought this. You know, it's a pretty like medium priced kit. They do have much more powerful kits, but I think this 500 watt motor is more than enough that I need for commuting and just getting around. I guess you could install like a 2000 watt motor, but I kind of feel like this is more than enough for most people. But it's one of these things. It's up to you. Maybe you want ride off-road. Maybe you want to install this on a mountain bike. But I am very surprised. I really like the computer system that they use. It's a very good looking system and it's integrated very well with the bike. It would be nice if this bike had a bigger frame to put all this stuff, but you could also get a rack as well. If you're a commuter, you might want to put like a seat rack on it. Why would you get a e-bike kit? You know, often even bicycle owners, they kind of despise the whole electric movement. But for a guy that's done as much commuting as me, the e-bike kits are great. You know, sometimes in the morning, you're feeling lazy, you want to get to work and not sweat. You can do it on this. And you still have the benefit of riding the bike. Remember, you can always turn it off. And because you have added weight, you're going to get a much better workout. I keep telling people the whole e-bike movement is here to stay. I'm seeing more and more mountain bikers using the e-bikes, and I'm seeing a lot of motorcycles crossing over into the e-mountain biking world as well. It's a great movement, and you see this form of transportation in many countries. Like the e-bikes are here to stay, and I really like this kit. I might order one for myself as well.